Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon and welcome. It is Monday, August 19th, and this is episode 3 of the Holistic Alternative. My name is Julia Mejia, and I welcome everyone today, as always. Very exciting to have a very unique guest today who is a comedian, also a cannabis consumer, to get her through her daily, spiels in regards to the industry as well. She is a beautiful person and an activist. Please welcome Danit Sibovits to the show today.
Hey, thank you for having me. It's so nice to see you.
You too. I'm great, thanks. Thanks so much for being here and taking the time out of your busy schedule to join us today.
My pleasure, my pleasure. Well, it's finally not so rainy in New York, finally.
It's been a monsoon here. I think you sent it this way, so it's that's okay. I'm glad it's clearing up over there. That's great.
Yeah, just a little bit.
It's an honor and a privilege to have you today, and we're going to get right into your very unique and it's an important story because, like so many people that get into the space, there's usually a reason for it. So I'm going to dive right in, and I'd love to hear, and I know our listeners would love to hear a little bit about your background and your history and how you started, first of all, in your comedic endeavors, but how you started using cannabis as well. So if you wouldn't mind divulging, I'd love to hear.
Sure. So, growing up, I always dabbled in cannabis, obviously, parents, it's okay if you're teens, whatever, don't cancel me. But I think cannabis is the safe one. We always like to say you don't overdose. It's not alcohol. You're not gonna OD. It's okay. Let them experiment. But in general, I think that the stigma really needs to end for the health benefits of cannabis. What can it be used for? And it's really helped me my whole life, having anxiety and any kinds of issues with that. But in general, for those issues with anxiety, it's always helped me. But unfortunately, in 2022, I was in a really bad car accident and I had a major spine injury that required some serious surgery. I have screws in my neck, and opioids are necessary. You need painkillers after that kind of surgery, but how do we get off of it? And so I think that that's where cannabis can come in. I think what people are mistaking is when you're in that level of medical crisis and that kind of pain, cannabis isn't the replacement for a painkiller. It's not going to heal you and get rid of that level of pain with that kind of surgery, but it's going to get you off the opioids instead of staying on them and getting addicted. And I really think that it's the reason that I could get off of them. For me, I was on Dilaudid, which is basically morphine in pill form. And, I had a really good doctor and his team was really good. His nurses were amazing, and they kept on weaning me off every week. You need doctors that actually talk to you and don't just ignore you.
Right.
Yeah. So I think having the right doctor, which is super hard to find, and then getting yourself off of opioids while you still have pain, you still have symptoms, and cannabis can help. Like, it's not going to help the level 10 pain, but it's going to help the level 5. Like that's what I think.
No, and I think that's a great way to explain your personal, experience with it. My story, that when I was injured, I had severe neuropathic pain, and after exhausting all the opiates and the nerve medications, for me, nothing touched it like cannabis did for the neuropathic pain. So everybody's body is different.
Right.
And I think that's a huge, tremendous thing is, finding what works best for your body. And that's a key point for sure. So
yeah. And I think also people don't realize there are so many ways to use cannabis for pain. Like, for instance, like there's a product from Heirloom, which is a legal, licensed, they should give me money because I talk about these products all the time and they've been ghosting me on my emails. They don't give me no money, and they're licensed New York company that sells in the dispensaries, at least in New York. I'm pretty sure they're in other states also. But what they have is, they have lots of different products, but specifically for what I'm talking about is they have like a balm, like a butter, like a balm butter in like a tin that has 1,000 milligrams of THC. Like, sorry, don't be scared. It's not going to get you high. You're just like putting it on your back. You're putting it on your skin. And 1,000 milligrams of THC is what you need, people. Like, I don't think it's going to hit you on your skin. Like 10 milligrams in a whole thing of like a balm of butter is not going to help. Like, you need high levels of THC in that kind of topical product to really get in there. And that's a good product, because when I was injured, it didn't exist. Like, I had someone home make me an 800 milligram lotion because
right.
I didn't do anything. So
no, it's really about what works for your body and finding the right products for that. And a lot of people are scared. They're like, well, I don't want to get high from it. I'm like, okay, there's dermatologically, it doesn't work like that. So yeah, it's comical, and education is key, so
yes.
I'm sure someone's going to listen to your segment and say, all right, well, she tried it, she explained it, I'm willing to try something now. So that's a huge thing. And
yeah, it doesn't get you high, and it really takes away the pain. I don't know what my mom has, but my mom has something from a medical dispensary in Florida that's a topical, and it actually works. And I just yell at her because now she's the child. That's what happens when your parents get elderly. Because I'm like, if it works, why don't you stay consistent with it? I don't understand. Why don't you put
I get it.
time? I don't understand. But like, and I don't even know how many milligrams it is, because it's like, she's the child, like she can't figure it out. She can't tell you what it is. But I'm like, please use it every day, because it doesn't get her high. It's just a topical, and it actually helps her, unlike whatever else she's using.
Exactly. And it's not like a traditional pharmaceutical where you're going to overdose, right? I think I was laughing today. I think it might have been your story that I saw, that it says the biggest overdose that you can get from cannabis is a good night's sleep. And I'm like, on point. There you go.
Yes. Honestly, the worst thing, is that you might throw up. Like, really, that's the worst thing. You might throw up. You might like drool a little bit, super, super zoned out. I don't know. Like, that's the worst.
No, and at least we're not dying. There hasn't been any deaths that we know of cannabis related has caused, which is pretty conducive considering thousands and thousands of years of usage. So I'll take that any day over a traditional pharmaceutical. So
seriously,
but let's dive right in too. Let's talk about your background and how you got into comedy.
Oh, okay. Well, what I like to tell people sometimes is like, well, I was the only person in college that had a poster of Larry David in my dorm room. I was like, that was weird. I'm like, I didn't have like a hot guy. I had Larry David. So I guess that's how I knew I was into comedy. But I've always been like really quirky and different and ridiculous. So I did improv for a while, and then I got into stand-up in like 2018. And so I've been like pretty focused on stand-up since then. I stopped doing improv. Because I'm not like really a character actor. Like I'm not Kate McKinnon. I'm not like, you know, Tina Fey, Amy Poehler. I can't like be a million different people. I'm just like funny.
You're you.
Yeah, me. Like I'm
Yeah.
Yeah, so and that's what I do. And then about like almost 3 years ago, maybe like 2.5, 3 years ago, I came up with the Hot Box, which is basically a stoner comedy talk show where I get other comedians high and then interview them late night talk show style. And on September 7th, for the first time, I'm doing the Smoking Hot Mixer before. Because like nobody gets cannabis lovers together that want to like mix and mingle. Like maybe you're single, maybe you have an open relationship, or like whatever. Maybe you want to just make new friends. Like the cannabis like social scene is like not what it could be. And also like, okay, sorry, not sorry, but like at least in New York, like can we elevate these events a little bit? They can be a little bit like higher class. Sorry, don't hate me, but it's true. Okay. Like I don't
You're
need
speaking the truth.
I'm speaking the truth. I don't need every whatever. I'm so old. I'm like trap brand, whatever plug. Like, can we just like have some class? Whatever. I'm a 41-year-old lady. Like, I'd like, you know, some, you know,
Some finesse with the space and the events. I get it.
yes. Well, so and so it's going to be really fun. I'm trying to get a dating app involved, so we'll see how that goes.
Awesome.
We'll see. So hopefully that'll be really fun. Get more people out.
No, that sounds like an amazing event. That sounds great. And we'll definitely tell people how to connect with you towards the end of the segment and where they can buy tickets to that event and such. But that's awesome. Yeah, no, that's amazing. So let's talk a little bit further, right? How did you incorporate cannabis with your comedy? That's a really big thing, and that no one else has done that. Let's talk a little bit further about that.
Well, don't we all love to be high and laugh? Like, isn't that what it's about? So, I guess, so part of it is that, like, I'm not the comedian that, like, is dying for, like, an hour Netflix special. I mean, listen, if Netflix calls, hello, Netflix, call me, Roku, USA Global TV, everyone, okay, everyone call me. I'm here. I'm not saying no to anybody, but ideally, my goal is not an hour special. My goal is more like a talk show. Like, that's what I want. So I was like, what would make mine different? And like, I love weed, so I had to come up with something different. And I just think also, I guess I came up with it like right as it was getting legalized in New York. So I felt like comfortable with doing it. And more people are comfortable with it. So I guess I just combined it. And everybody's like trying to do stand-up shows in New York with cannabis, but mine actually incorporates it into the show. And it is the biggest cannabis comedy show in New York. So everybody can pretend, but I have the best ones. It's fun.
Well, so how difficult was that? How difficult was it to find a venue that was like, hey, sure, you could smoke. You could have people that come in that smoke. How challenging has that stigma been to get past?
It's still challenging. I mean, basically I have to rent out venues. Like no comedy clubs will do it yet, because right now in New York, you still can't have like alcohol, food, and cannabis in the same place. Like you have to rent out a private venue and then you can do whatever you want.
Yep.
So once a comedy club is like willing to do it, what they're willing to do, comedy clubs, is like just like have it like a 420 style show, but like not, you can't consume or smoke inside. So it's been really challenging. But now I have a really good venue. It's on 39th and 6th. And I have a whole 5th floor, which is beautiful. These like gorgeous like wooden tables. Like people have like engagement parties and weddings there. And then I have the whole rooftop. So I actually get 2 floors for the price of one because I wanted like both. You get both together because that's how they do it there. So I got like, so I can fit like 200 people. So everybody should come on September 7th. Because like the bathrooms are on the 5th floor with the kitchen and the inside. And then like the rooftop can fit more people. And that's the comedy show and the bar. So it just like works out really well. But yeah, like I have to like find special venues.
Okay. So we're definitely looking for club owners that are listening right now that want to get involved and support not only cannabis, but cannabis and comedy, and a wonderful person that does it. So yeah, that's huge. And you know, it's not just about the comedy. You're also known for some of your activism. Can we talk a little bit about that if you feel comfortable?
Yeah, we can totally talk about it, as I've been getting comments this morning because I posted, oh my God, I can't help myself. I'm my mother's daughter. You know when you realize you have officially become your mother?
Oh yeah.
I go to therapy and psychiatry and take medication. My mom.
So what you're saying is when you notice the signs that you're becoming your Jewish mother, then you're getting help for it, as opposed to the mother that never sees there's anything wrong. Oigevels, right? There you go.
Exactly. At least I'm getting help for it. So People Magazine, which it's horrible. I mean, here's my Hotbox shirt. I'm wearing it for the show. There we go.
I love it. I love it. It's beautiful.
So this is very sad. There was a music festival in Germany. There was a Ferris wheel that something malfunctioned, and 65 people are injured. Very sad. But I'm sorry. I had to post a comment that said, well, where was your post about the Nova Festival when hundreds of people were massacred?
Thousands of people were massacred.
Well, hundreds at Nova, but
some 1,200 people.
Well, hundreds at Nova, specifically at the Nova Festival. That's why I wrote that. So I didn't even put Israel. I just put Hamas and the Nova Festival. I can't help myself. I'm so sorry, Germany, whatever. Okay, well, Germany. Oh, I don't have to. I don't have to say sorry to Germany about anything. But anyway,
love it.
I just like I couldn't help myself, and I love like the innocent responses, which was like, just scroll down. You're not scrolling down far enough. It's like they never made a post about Nova because it was Jews. They don't care about our music festival. My point was, by all means, report on an injury, whatever, at a German music festival. Report on it. My point is, you didn't report on like the largest music festival massacre in the world ever happened because it was in Israel. Like, that's my point. That's the point I'm trying to make. So this is what happens. And unfortunately, I've experienced a lot of anti-Semitism. I'm laughing because it's like, you don't know what to do when you do these things. Like,
well, and that's what we're getting into too, because as a Jewish comedian, right? First of all, Jews and comedy, there's been a big connection because of the fact that persecution for Jews are not new. This is thousands and thousands of years of anti-Semitism. And you know what? I'm sure you can kind of relate to this. Until October, I didn't have as much anti-Semitism. And after October 7th of this past year, it was like daily I'm seeing it. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So, you know, I've like, it's not like I never knew that it happened this way since October 7th, but it wasn't until like maybe in the last week or two only, actually, which is really crazy, that I said it like this, that it really like, you know, solidified it for me. On October 7th, okay, I had a show that I helped curate and like I host it for a place outside the city, like in the Hudson Valley.
Yeah.
Because there are places like outside, you know, road gigs and stuff like that, and they're not comedy clubs. Like this one happens to be like a really lovely vineyard outside the city that wants to put on comedy shows and events, and they don't know how to get comics from the city. So like we have this whole like thing that we've worked out, and it's like a very special place, and like I have a responsibility to them. So like it's a whole financial arrangement, everything that we worked out. And like, it's a big deal to me to keep my commitments, right? So like
For sure.
that night, I felt like, I mean, in hindsight, maybe, I mean, it's such a fucking tragedy that I guess I could, sorry, am I allowed to curse on here? No.
You can do what you will, man.
I'm like, so like, I maybe in hindsight, I could have said like, I don't even know how to function. Like I can't host this comedy show, but I felt like I had to keep it. Okay. So I still that night went up to the Hudson Valley, like to this road gig, and hosted this comedy show with all the comedians that I had booked. And one of them was someone who I thought was my friend. And that night, on the day of October 7th, I mean, what people don't even understand is like, on October 7th, like we're talking 12 hours later, maybe, okay, with the time difference, New York to Israel, maybe 18 hours later, we don't even know the depths of what happened. We don't know that there are real hostages. We don't know where people are. We don't know like any sort of specifics of the details of like what's happened. We don't know that people are hiding. We don't know that they're kidnapped. We don't know anything. We haven't done anything in response yet. And I literally got the words that she said to my face were, well, what do you expect? Like, you're an apartheid state. And I literally lost my mind. And she did apologize to my face in that moment, but then she posted vile things for the rest of the time, and I cursed her out, and we never spoken. I've never seen her since. She's an anti-Semite. She can say whatever she wants. She's an anti-Semite. So
For sure.
I had that to my face on the day that our people got murdered. And so to me, I have felt like everything's changed from October 7th. There's a pre and a post for me. And
For sure.
and like I lost a lot of friends. I lost a lot in comedy. I've lost a lot of opportunities, and I can't stop posting, and I can't stop being vocal. And that's just the way it is. And like I posted something like maybe like a month ago or a few weeks ago where I was just like, there's really just like one simple reason why I don't stop. It's like, I just need to be able to live with myself. Like, that's it. That's it. I am Israeli. I've lived there. I come from there. Like half my heritage is from there. My other half is Jewish, also Ashkenazi, but like from, you know, we like those grandparents came to America instead of to Israel when they left Eastern Europe. Like whatever.
I get it. I get it. And you know what? Like a lot of people don't realize, and they think this is a holy war, a religious thing. And what I try to tell and explain to people that are uneducated, being Jewish can mean a religion. It can also mean a race. So, you know, it's about education there too. There's a lot of misinformation that's posted and stuff. And, you know, so let's talk a little bit about your experience in Israel. You moved to Israel in your 20s?
Yeah, in my late 20s. It definitely makes you feel super American. I'm like, oh, I'm like so Israeli. No, I'm not. Also, my Hebrew is like pretty awful. I mean, it's better than other people's, but it's still pretty awful. But Tel Aviv's like the greatest city on earth. This girl, of course, I get in fights with everybody. Whatever. I am my mother. I just like didn't like her. I didn't like her vibe. Like I don't really care about anything you're saying. Is like what I really wanted to say to her. But like she tells me, she's just like, I have a pet peeve. It's like, oh, we gotta all just love each other. Like we shouldn't have internal fighting amongst Jews. But like I can't stand the Jews that are like, oh, but I was like raised nothing and I love that. Like I just like don't like religion. It's like, oh my God, we're a people, we're an ethnicity, like shut up, like stop, like you're
Speaking
not
for us.
like you're not helping the situation by being so fucking proud that like you don't care about any of our practices. And like also like I'm not religious, my sister is, great, okay, but like shut up, we're in crisis, like shut up, like. And I tell her, like, I lived in Tel Aviv, that's where my family's from, my best friend lives there at still, and like she's like, I love Tel Aviv, you know, they just like don't talk about religion. And I was like, I rolled my eyes and I was like, there's so much more to Judaism than like whatever your thing. She was like, take the compliment. And it also pissed me off because that's not like, it pisses me off when Orthodox people say like they don't like Tel Aviv because it's secular. I don't like that Tel Aviv is focused on whether it's, you know, religious or not. Stop talking about my favorite city like that. It's artistic and cosmopolitan and educational and has the beach. When I lived there, I lived 7 minutes walking from the beach and has like the best food in the world and like underground clubs and like everyone's so Tel Aviv-y. Like you can, like when I lived there, like it was so Tel Aviv-y to like walk down the street and see a guy that you like saw at the bar and like run away to the other side of the street or something, or walk by on purpose so that he could see you. Like, it's just like, there's so many like amazing things. And like, I just like, it's such an amazing city that like, I love so much. There's so much more to it. Like, it's also like, there's Independence Hall where like the state of Israel, like it was announced, like the it doesn't have a constitution, but like the Declaration of Independence, like was signed, like that happened in Tel Aviv. Like, stop talking about it like that. It's just,
it's irky, it's scary. There's a lot of misinformation, a lot of racism, anti-Semitism. And at the end of the day, you know, we have to stick together. We have to stick together and come together. I don't care what sect of Judaism you are. I don't care if you're Jewish by race and agnostic and you don't practice. Every Jew needs to come together at this point in this world. And even the non-Jews, you know, you don't have to be Jewish to support humanity.
No,
so,
totally.
You know,
somebody posted on Instagram, like, where are the real liberals? The ones that like the old school liberals that smoke weed and have sex and do everything. I'm like, I'm right here. I've been standing up for us. Let's go.
Right. No, and I totally get that. And so let's talk a little bit. How have you faced anti-Semitism in regards to your job and making it harder for you to be a comedian and do your bookings and fulfill those? Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I just don't get booked.
So you've seen a decline since October 7th for bookings.
Oh, totally. Yeah, I just don't get booked that much. And like and this summer I'm just like enjoying my life. Like I want
good.
And I'm like focusing on like really bringing the hot box to like the next level with the smoking hot mixer and stuff like that. So like that's okay. You know, like stuff like that, but like comedy in general, regardless of anti-Semitism, can be like a super toxic environment.
For sure.
Because it's like the entertainment business, but like so many worse people. Like everyone is horrible. Because like everyone is depressed or an addict or something. Like every single stereotype about comedians is like true. Like everyone has like childhood trauma or depression or an addiction issue. Like that's why we're narcissists on stage trying to make people love us. So
I think it's such a beautiful service though that you provide people, because especially at this point in time where we're going, you know, possibly to World War III at this point, The world is a mess. And you know what? As Jews have done for centuries, we try to laugh about it, because if we don't, we cry. So, you're providing a very valuable and essential service right now during a time where it's really needed. So I think you need to really, take that to heart amongst all the hate, and, take that, because it's important. It really is what you're doing right now.
I hope so. Yeah, I think we need laughs like that. When I like try to post on Facebook in like Jewish groups to be like, come to the show, I'm like, we could all use laughter in these horrible times.
Yeah, it's true. And so how's the response been from the Jewish community? Have you gotten a lot of support?
Yeah. The Jewish community has been great. I mean, it just like the silver lining of I think the whole situation, like as far as everyone I've like spoken to, has been like everybody has reconnected with people. Like I've reconnected with people from college and like just random people. Like it's been like a really nice way for that. I think has been like the silver lining. Like it's
Right.
like that. It's just craziness, but like the Jewish community is like really, really, really special. Like even like last week, a lone soldier in Israel died very suddenly from like an allergic reaction to something having nothing to do with the war. Like I don't even know if it was a food or medicine. I have no idea. But they had his funeral like at 10 p.m. in a suburb like outside of Tel Aviv, like 20, 30 minutes outside of Tel Aviv. And the family couldn't get there from America in time, like whatever, and just like begged everybody in the country, whoever can go to his funeral, and thousands of people showed up. Like that's who we are. And like I just wish that people knew that we were like that. Like, why do I care so much? Because I'm crying over people that I've never met that are being held hostage. That's who we are. That's what we do.
Well, when one Jew cries, one Jew bleeds, we all do. And that's how it should be. And again, we talk about other races, right? The African American community, the Asian community. The Jewish community is a race. And I have to continue to emphasize that we should have rights just as any other ethnic group does.
Yeah.
It's a concerning thing. So, let's talk a little bit more about, your show in September, how you want that to go, because we're getting down to the nitty gritty here. I want to know how people can contact you and purchase tickets and stuff for your show.
Okay, well, you can find me on Instagram at Danit Sibs. And then the link is in my bio. It's smokinghot.eventbrite.com. I need to add it to my website, but you can go to my website, danitsibs.com. But everything's like on Instagram. Everything's posted. That's like the best place to always find me is Instagram. I'm super active on there. I'm too old for TikTok.
I know. I haven't got one, and I'm like, all right, I already have a hard time keeping up with Instagram and the Facebook, and I'm like, all right, I don't want to do anymore. I so appreciate the realness and, old school and being interactive with like face-to-face contact with people. So, that's one of the beautiful things about New York and bringing people together, and comedy and cannabis is another one, right?
Yeah. People love to smoke weed and laugh. And we really need it because the world is falling apart.
It's so true. So again, you're providing a beautiful service at a time where it's very, very necessary and needed. And I hope everyone will come and check you out. Again, give everyone your thread and your website again. Can you spell it out for everyone?
Yes. Okay. So Instagram is at Danit Sibs, DanitSibs. And then my website is DanitSibs.com. You could also go to the hotbox.nyc on Instagram. That's an easy one to remember. And you can find everything there and follow me and go to the September 7th show. It's after Labor Day. What are you doing?
Right. Exactly. There's no excuse. Be there, people. So let's talk a little bit about how that's going to go down. So people are allowed to bring their own consumption and their papers, that kind of stuff. Let's talk about that while we wrap up.
Can bring their own. So this one's going to be, so the smoking hot mixer is going to be 7 to 9. And you don't have to come like exactly at 7. But it's going to be like there. I have a DJ. We are going to have vendors, and we have like some snacks and a bar with like wine, beer, and hard seltzer. And then at 9, we'll start the comedy show on the roof. So basically, like the 5th floor. This is all if the weather prevails. We're going to have to make some changes. The weather's different.
Okay.
But if the weather is good, like the mixer and schmoozing and everything will be like inside with the DJ on the 5th floor and everything, with snacks and drinks and everything. And then we'll move up to the comedy show rooftop show with that on the roof. It'll be so nice. And it's on 39th and 6th, and it's a really, really, really beautiful venue. And then I do want to mention, if you want to be specially invited, you have to be specially invited because the link is very special. To the first ever infused Shabbat dinner that I'm hosting on Friday, November 1st. You don't have to be.
That sounds amazing.
You just have to be an ally. No anti-Semites allowed. That's why
I love that.
This RSVP has to be confirmed, and there's no Eventbrite link. It's an RSVP link, and you are not confirmed until you pay me, because this is an infused dinner. It's a 4-course meal, like infusions, drinks, everything's included. It's one price. The early bird price is $236 until the end of September, and then October until November 1st, it goes up to $290. But it's like a multi-course it's vegetarian though, not kosher, but it's going to be like an amazing infused Shabbat dinner, very upscale. Because that's another thing. Infused meals, dinners, not happening the way they should be in New York.
Oh, I don't think it's just New York. It's everywhere. You know, there's a lot of, backyard barbecue kind of style, but, and that's well and great, but, stoners like to dress up once in a while and go out and have a nice dinner.
Well, it's also what you're charging. I paid for like an omakase infused dinner for like $300, and it took 5 hours and I was starving. I can't do that. No. This is a Jewish woman did not do that meal. That's
I was just gonna say, it's run by a Jewish woman. You're gonna get fed. You're gonna get fed. Everyone does, and that's just how we are in our lifestyle. You can't leave a Jewish person's home without being fed. No. So that's awesome. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to be here. And one more time, give everyone your thread and your best contact information.
Okay, find me on Instagram at Danit Sibs, DANITSIVS. And thank you so much, Julie, for having me. This was awesome.
Thank you for being a guest. And please keep up the amazing work that you're doing. It's important. Am Yisrael Chai, and we just pray for the world to calm down and to have some peace. So thank you so much for taking the time to come in today and talk with us.
Thank you.
Have an amazing day. Take care. Thank you guys for joining us for this special edition. We will see you next month in September. We actually have 2 shows coming up in September. More information to follow. Thanks so much. Have a great day.